Welcome to Prepared Enough, a podcast for moms who want to lighten the mental load of motherhood and create homes where kids can thrive. I'm your host, Natasha Mila, former teacher, mom of four, and firm believer that a well-prepared home can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. During each episode, we'll explore simple ways to design organized, intentional spaces and rhythms that build your child's responsibility and bring more ease into your day. So if you're ready to create a home that works with you and not against you, you're in the right place. Hit follow and let's get started. Hello, friend. We are here with an All Right Whelp podcast episode. Every other week we have like a fun, lighthearted podcast episode that I also write up in newsletter format, and that is this. So thank you for spending your precious time listening here. I really do appreciate it. If you normally enjoy our podcast episodes and you spend some time here, I would super appreciate you giving us a 5-star review. That would be just lovely. It only takes like a couple seconds to do if you're an Apple Podcast, and it really does make a really big difference. Happy November. I'm not writing this. I'm talking. I'm right here. I'm recording. I'm talking to you. This is November. It is the beginning of November. So it is full on Thanksgiving mode. I'd prefer to be decorating for Christmas, but my husband just kind of like poo-pooed that only because he's doing a bathroom renovation. But I'm probably still going to put a couple things up because he's not going to finish that until early in December. So we're going to put some stuff up and he can just steal a little bit. Okay, but I am recording this in my kitchen right now, and my littlest guy, my big three are at school, and my littlest guy is taking a nap, which is so out of the ordinary. He normally isn't allowed to nap, and I wake him up as soon as we get home if he accidentally falls asleep in the car or something. But he was so tired. I think he might have like a little bit of a bug. I don't know. He's kind of snotty. And we have a dentist appointment this afternoon right during his nap time. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let him sleep, and I'm going to take advantage of the 15 minutes to get on my computer and record this podcast for you guys. So here I am. So today, I thought it would be fun to share. I made a little list of 10 things that we don't own, that we do not own, that kind of seem weird to some people. Okay? So kind of odd things that we don't own. All right? So I'm going to go through a list. The first thing, it's just really for fun. But I do hope that, you kind of can take it into your own mind. And I feel like it's like nice to hear how other people live and get like tiny little insights into their daily personal life, because sometimes when I look at like people online or even people just talk about their life, I hear what they're saying and then I embellish it and I like add on lots of stories about their life that I just envision to be true for them. And I totally make up this like make-believe world that they live in, and what their house must look like if I've never been there, and what their lives must look like on the daily if I'm not in their house on the daily. And even if you were a guest in their house for like a week, it still wouldn't be their real life. You're a guest in their home, so they're going to be acting a little bit different, or things are just going to be a little bit different or off or even crazier than usual or something. So you're literally never going to know what somebody's intimate personal daily life looks like, because if you were ever actually there, it would not look like their normal daily life, right? So anyway, I just like to like put things on to people without that actually being true for them. And so I feel like it's nice to hear what people's lives are actually like. And so this is just like a fun way of me telling you a couple little personal things about our life without just going like, when I wake up at, whatever time, and then this happens, and then this happens, This is just like a couple little personal things about our life. So I formatted this in a list, and it is called 10 Things That We Do Not Own That Seem Weird to Some People. I don't know if that's the title I'm going to go with. There's a lot of words, but this is what I'm going with right now to tell you on here. Okay, so number 1, we do not own enough chairs for our entire family. Don't worry. We do all sit together at our table, but our kitchen table is a 4-chair table, and the baby is in a booster seat on like kind of like a high chair seat, still on an add-on chair that we have, but it's like not a matching chair, but we do have like an extra chair for him. And then we pull that chair up to like the edge, like the corner of the table. And when my husband's home for a meal, we have, right now his work schedule is like pretty busy. And so he's not home for some nights for dinner, and he leaves before they wake up before the kids even wake up. So he's definitely not home for breakfast or lunch, but he is getting a new job soon. And so that totally might change. But for right now, we have 2 stools that we can pull up to the table. So we use them for my husband and for like guests, if the guests come over. And they're like the perfect height stools that we just pull over to the table if we need an extra seat or 2. So yeah, this works for us. But our plan has always been, and still is, to have bench seating on 2 sides of the table at some point. So that should add a lot of seating. And we'll probably get a new table at that point too. But yeah, hasn't happened yet. Ideally, we would do that yesterday, but here we are, and this is how people live, because you just can't do it all, right? And you just can't buy it all, right? Like, you want what you want, but you only have so much in you to get, right? Number 2, the second thing we don't own, a fancy coffee maker. This isn't that weird. I think this isn't weird at all, but I've been to a lot of people's houses lately, and a lot of people have fancy coffee makers. And I'm like, wait, am I like missing out on some trend? Like, we've had the same coffee pot for forever, just like a regular brewing coffee pot. Like, I don't know, like a 12 cup, pot you just stick in, you press start. Like, we don't even use, I think it does have like features, like you can set a timer and stuff. Like, we've never used that. I just click it on in the morning. It is what it is. I should caveat here, we do have a French press, but we use it approximately 4 times a year. And this is typically when we're coming home in an afternoon after being like out of town, and we just want 1 cup of coffee, but we don't have any old coffee in our coffee maker to like reheat, Yep. I said that. I did say that. Normally we make a pot and we drink it throughout the day, and then we just reheat it in the microwave. Like, it's not on all day. I turn it off, and then we just reheat it in the microwave in mugs. Yes, that's what we do. But some people are probably like jaw dropping on the other side here of the computer. But all is well, guys. It's fine. Apparently, I'm not a coffee snob, though I would really beg to differ, because I do, in fact, think Folgers taste disgusting. We used to drink Folgers, my husband and I, in college, and man, I thought it was delicious back then. And we tried it for the first time, like 2 years ago, and we got rid of the whole container. We were like, that's absolutely disgusting. Like, I can't even drink that, so to me, I'm a major coffee snob coming from that, right? And I also have like an exact science to the quantity of cream that I add to my coffee. So, I think I'm picky, but apparently not having what are those called? Like those latte makers. What are they called? I can't even come up with the word. Whatever. We don't have a fancy coffee maker. That's number 2. Okay, number 3. This is super weird for some people. We do not own top sheets on our bedding. We have a fitted sheet and a comforter. That's it. On my husband and I's bed. We will probably never ever own a top sheet that is used for anything besides fort making, unless we have like a guest bed one day. For guest bed, I would add a top sheet, because that seems polite, right? But my husband was the one who like turned me on to the no top sheet idea back in our younger days, and we have never looked back. Honestly, I just like, they end up just like bunched up at the bottom of the bed, because like they're super annoying. You just like kick them down or kick them to the side, and they're just honestly a hassle to add to the bed making. And honestly, a comforter is just the best way to do it. Like, we just, you just pull up the comforter at the end of the day. Maybe it's just our problem and how we sleep. Like, we roll around like crazy people. I don't know, but a comforter is just as comfy. And I like, why have the extra sheet? It's not adding any warmth. So I don't even know why we have it, right? I should say, I feel like maybe if we do have like a really hot house in the summer. We don't have air conditioning, but we live like on Lake Michigan kind of, so really close to it. So it doesn't get that warm here, except for in August. And even at night for me, it's not that hot. So, but my husband does sleep with like no cover on. So I could see having a top sheet for a period of time, but he would never sleep with a top sheet. He would just rather sleep with a comforter or nothing. So it's not my problem. Anyway, it really is it honestly, and then like the dilemma is like, oh, well then you have to wash your comforter all the time. And I'm just like, what's the difference? It's just a little bit more laundry. So what? So for us, it's not a dilemma. We just wash the comforter and just like it was a bed sheet, The kid bedding now, this is number 4. For kid bedding, we also do not have top sheets. Actually, we don't have kid bedding, really. We have no comforter for them either. So that's something else we don't own. So we have just their fitted sheets. They have pillowcases too. So they do have those 2 sheets, but that's it. Then they just use larger blankets to cover up. And then when they like make their beds, quote unquote, make their beds, they just either like lay the blanket flat on their bed or they fold it at the bottom. It's their choice. So that's it. We have just a blanket on the kids' bed. They each have like a large blanket. So that's kind of fun and very easy for them and very easy for me. Number 5, the 5th thing that we don't own is we do not own extra shoes for the kids. So I think that they have a ton of shoes. They each typically have 1 pair of tennis shoes, and our oldest does have gym shoes at school because she needs them there. They each have 1 pair of rain boots. They each have 1 pair of snow boots, and they each have 1 pair of Crocs, which is like a ton of shoes to me. That's plenty of shoes in one kid size because kids grow out of their shoe size in like 6 months, a year, So that's plenty of shoes for one shoe size. And if they have, and kids' shoes are not that cheap anymore, Like we go to Walmart and they're pretty cheap there, but if you order them online, they're still like $25-$30, and that's a cheap kind, Anyway, that's like how much I want to spend on a pair of shoes for myself, not for a kid that's going to grow out of it in 6 months. So if they do have like any extra pairs of like fun shoes, they would have just 1 pair of like extra fun shoes, and it would just be because somebody gifted it to them. So like right now, our daughters both have like a cute boot. And yeah, that's it. But yeah, they were gifted those, and they like them. My mom thrifted them each for the girls. So those are like a fun pair of shoes that they have. But yes, I would never buy those for my kids. I see kids like coming in their tennis shoes to school, and they have like different pairs of tennis shoes on all the time. And I only notice this because they're like rainbow colored, like bright orange or bright green. And they're always in these like cool sneakers. And I do think it's cute. It really is. It's super cute. And if you have money to do it, like great. But I wouldn't want to keep track of all those shoes. And honestly, I just think it's a luxury only afforded to humans who like stay in the same shoe size for more than 6 months. It should only be afforded to those that length of time if you're going to be in shoes for that length of time. Okay, no, that's a strong opinion, but that's just something we don't own. All right, number 6. I feel like I'm noticing I have like a scratchy voice as I'm talking on here. So maybe we do have a tiny little bug. Okay, number 6. Fun backpacks. My kids do not have fun backpacks, all right? They have plain colored JanSport backpacks. I'm like a real stickler on this. I like the ones with the water bottle pocket and the folder pocket, which is AKA a laptop pocket. But we get them like a fun patch each year and we sew it on. So they do have like something exciting to look forward to, but they do not get a new backpack and they don't get like a fun decorated one. They don't need it. They don't need the fun decoration. They're going to not like it in a year and then I'm going to have to get them another one. And I don't want to do that. It's just wasteful, in my opinion, and they don't need a new backpack. Like, they are totally fine. My daughter is on her 4th year of her backpack, and it's like, looks brand new. Like, I wash it 2 times a year. It looks brand new. And I'm hoping to, like, make it at least another 3 years. Either, like, before either getting her a new one or just, like, cutting off all the little kid patches. I don't know. We'll see. But it's, like, perfectly fine. So I think we can definitely get 3 more years. She can get a new one when she goes to middle school. Okay. Number 7, the 7th thing we don't own is cups. Okay, I'm lying a little bit because we do actually own cups, but obviously it would be rude to like have guests over and have no cups for adults or kids, but we personally do not use our cups, so we just don't really have that many. We actually have way too many for what we use. We have like 8 adult cups and like 8 kid cups, which is totally unnecessary since we use them never. We use them, I shouldn't say we use them never. We do use them like once a month when the kids get juice, but that's it. And we are just not like a milk drinking family aside from like babies and young toddlers. So we do have a milk cup for our little guy, but that's it. Yeah, because leading into number 8, we just have one water bottle for everybody, and everybody just drinks water. So from our one water bottle. So number 8 is we don't have excess water bottles. We drink water, just not out of cups, right? And we have one water bottle. Like we have our water bottle each person, right? And the kids do have school waters and home waters. So we do have like an extra set of water bottles, but one is for school and one is for home. And then those school water bottles, like at the end of the school year, I put them in their backpacks. Like I wash them, clean them, and then they go in the store, get stored in their backpacks for the next year. So they're like specifically school water bottles. They don't end up in my cabinets. I see people's houses that have like, a cabinet just like overflowing with water bottles, and it honestly sounds just more annoying for me to have to like wash and keep track of that many water bottles. It's just annoying. They don't really need like that much cleaning either. I feel like we're totally fine cleaning our water bottles like once a week at the max, like that would be, I feel like I sometimes go like every 2 weeks and I wash their water bottles, and they're never moldy. So it's very much fine. I do like wipe them down after meals and stuff like that, so that if they have like food on them or anything, and when I'm filling them up, I kind of give them a little shake rinse, but otherwise they're totally fine. So we do not have excess water bottles, and we don't use cups. We do have cups for guests. Okay, number 9. We don't have iPads. Our kids do not have iPads that they use. That's it. That's the end of number 9. Not really. Okay, we were gifted an iPad a while back from both my brother and a friend, but they are in a basket high up on a shelf where the kids have forgotten about them, and we have forgotten to tell them that they exist. Oops. Okay, moving on. So we have number 10. This is our last one. Number 10, we do not own decoration. Okay, this is also only kind of true, but obviously our house is like decorated, but I do not buy decoration for the sole purpose of decoration. So like I buy things that serve a purpose and that are also cute. So we have like, say we have like a basket, we have like fabric scraps and they need a storage solution. We just get a cute basket and then I put it out as decoration, right? So now we have a basket decoration that is really just full of fabric scraps because they needed somewhere to go. Like the kids could use a mirror to wipe their faces off after a meal. So we thrifted a tiny, cute little yellow mirror and we put it in our kitchen on the wall as decoration, right? And then we have too many eggs from our chickens and we needed like a system for storing them on our counter. And so I found these like thrifted, simple circle baskets that nest inside one another, and they sit on our counter as decoration, filled with eggs until I unnest them as needed, as I need to store more eggs in our counter. And all the eggs and the baskets are decoration, but they're not actually decoration, right? And then we do just, we have wall art, but we have like collected our wall art from like, we don't have a lot of wall art, and most of it is like stuff that I was given from people, just like gifted. Like I haven't bought any of it actually, and we've just kind of made what were given work, or what we already kind of had or collected. I mean, a lot of it is like nature items that we like collected from places and stuff like that. So yeah, we don't buy decoration. That's something that we just have never really bought. And we have had like the same decoration, I should say, like our same, like the wall stuff on the walls is like, we've had this for like 15 years. It's literally like, we've just had it for forever, and we just rearrange it so that it looks cute in different spaces. Right. So I think that's the kind of like, a little bit of a talent that you kind of have to like use what you have and make it cute. You can do it. And then when you go thrifting and stuff, you're just looking for stuff that's like replacing items that you maybe already have, that is like, you're thinking in your head like, oh, that little basket on the counter is like not ideal. Like I'd rather have a little bit bigger for this reason, or I'd rather have it a little cuter. I don't love it very much. And then you find a replacement for it, So you're just always making your spaces a little bit cuter, but still functioning exactly the same way that they already are, unless you need a different function, right? But maybe just slightly different, right? You're just making little teeny edits here and there in your house with items that you already have or whatnot. Like we are constantly like rearranging our house to fit our needs in our different seasons of life. And when I rearrange furniture, I rearrange like wall decoration or like shelf decoration. And I'm calling it decoration, but I'm meaning our shelf items, which all are serving a purpose of some sorts, but are also cute, So it's just a little bit of an art, Okay. So yeah, I'm going to let you go, but we are minimal-ish. I would be heavy on the ish. We have plenty of unnecessary items, but like, it is really hard to define minimalism and define like what is actually necessary, because like, what do you really need? You need shelter, food, water, and clothing, right? Like, so how personalized do you make those things? How far do you take each need? Like, you don't actually need much, so at what point do you consider it a luxury? That's going to be different for everybody. It's kind of just like an opinion, right? So anyway, I share this list because I just think it's fun to just get to know some things about other people's lives. I also think it gives you some just perspective, like real life perspective on how another person is living. I feel like, I know I said this before, but like I always make up what I think other people live like. So I just like to hear little pieces of information on how the others live so that I can get a better sense of their reality, so that I don't just like make up a ton of stuff in my head from the lens of social media and influencers, right? Who are all like sharing their best life, right? Yeah. And listening to others, how others live, is my favorite way of getting new ideas. Like, I'm like, that's a great idea. Why have I been using a top sheet? Highly recommend. Okay. If you're going to take one thing away from this podcast episode, it's just get rid of your top sheet. That's it. That's the piece of information. I should have just started with that and then just been like, all right, bye everybody. Have a great week. Anyway, I've been like off of Instagram and social media for, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half now, honestly. It's been a long time. And sometimes I feel super out of touch. I like honestly have no idea what trends are even going on right now. My husband will say things to me and I'm like, what are the words that are even coming out of your mouth? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about or saying. I'm like probably too much in my own little bubble, but it's actually been really nice to not be influenced by by jealousy, really, and being able to like listen to the real humans in my real life and the moms at school pickup and whatnot and how they live, instead of just like living in someone's highlight reel and thinking that that's what my life should look like. Is just, it's not good for anybody to be thinking that in their head. So anyway, I know people say that all the time, but it is like something that you really, you don't really realize how much you look at social media and how much it impacts your lens on the world until you're actually off of it. And I am on Facebook still, but I am not like I feel like, Instagram is where you're scrolling reels and you like are following random people. On Facebook, I'm friends with like my family members and like people from high school, because Facebook makes it really difficult to like ignore people, like get rid of people as friends. You have to like click each individual person, and I'm the prime generation that used Facebook. And so I feel like we just like added everybody. So you're like, I have 1,000 friends. Like, I have to commit like 24 hours to like going through it and like getting rid of all of them, right? I think I did it once upon a time. So I do have like a quite narrow list, but yeah, I don't like scroll down at all. Like I click open Facebook sometimes because my husband will like send me things on there, and I also like to use Marketplace, but I don't like scroll down on Facebook or anything like I used to do on Instagram. And I don't like watch people's stories because nobody really posts stories on Facebook, or at least not my friends, So it's like, that's just like an Instagram thing. And you could be on those stories for forever. I used to do it for so long, you guys. Seriously, you just don't even realize how much you're influenced by it until you leave it, and not leave it for like a month, like until you're gone from it for a long time. Because I still have my account, but like, so I would log in still before, occasionally on my browser, and it's like a long weaning process of like actually getting out of it and being like, oh, I don't have to use that place for information to like feed me information or feed me content. I can just be who I'm gonna be, and that's okay. Like, I don't need to double check online and see if that's like appropriate, or like, is that what other people are doing right now? So it's just, I don't know. This just got on a really big tangent of social media. Okay, I'm gonna go now because that is not what this episode was meant to do, and it's not meant to be like a super long episode. So here we are already at like 20 minutes. All right, so I'm gonna let you go, but I hope this was kind of a fun little insight onto our personal lives. So that's that. All right, maybe I'll have to write something up on social media because clearly I just had a lot of passion talking about it. Okay, but I feel like I just said all I needed to say too. All right, probably not though. I could talk for a long time. So here I am saying goodbye again. Can you see? I can talk for a long time. All right, well, I'm going to let you go really quickly before I do. If you I would love for you, if you've listened to this whole episode, to click those 5 stars. That would be super, super helpful if you haven't already done that. And leave a review if you have an extra second, even just leave some nice words. That would be super great too. Thank you for doing that. It really does mean a lot, and it keeps me here doing this. I do like to share with everybody, so that's fun. Okay, and over on Substack, I do have this month available. Actually, it was in October, so it was the October month. October, our paid supporters over on Substack got a little video tutorial and all the documents that I use to organize our Christmas planning. So if you are interested in receiving that, you can go over on Substack, and I'll link it in the show notes, and you can subscribe to be a monthly paid supporter. It's like $3 a month or something. It's super, super affordable. I don't make it expensive on purpose so that you can help support this space with that. And that's exactly what you're doing when you're being a paid supporter on Substack. You are helping support the space as a whole, and I'm just giving you something each month as like a thank you for doing that. So last month in October, it was all of my Christmas planning materials and documents and templates and stuff. And in November, I am getting to you a lot. I'm going to kind of like videotape while my kids and I do a little declutter of our toys. So we have kind of already done it unintentionally. I kind of like have gone through some of their spaces just because things were getting really out of hand. And so we kind of got a little bit started on this, but we will do like an actual physical toy declutter a little bit live. I'm not going to make you sit through it because, this is like, it takes us hours to do this, right? It just takes a long time to like do it because I have little kids, not because we actually have like so much stuff. We really don't have that much stuff, but it just takes them a long time from, just deciding things, right? So I'm not going to make you sit through that, but I will videotape some parts of it so that you can kind of see how I talk to my kids about getting rid of their things. I feel like that would be kind of a helpful little, a little bit beneficial for people to see like how we talk about getting rid of things and how they make their decisions on what to get rid of, what to keep, and whatnot. Now they've been well practiced, so I'll kind of preface it on that, but I'll share more in that video. So in November, we're doing like a live decluttering with a little bit extra commentary from me on decluttering. And then also the podcast episodes coming up this month are going to be a couple, we have 2 All Right Whelp episodes like this one. Well, this is one of them. And then we have 2 podcast episodes on kid toys. And you are going to get 1 episode on like how to talk to your kids for, like how to talk to your kids, like how to involve your kids on getting rid of their toys and kind of like what to say and like how to help them get rid of their toys, especially if they're like kind of holding on to things that you don't think that they really actually care about. And then another one is just generally like how to declutter and like some ideas on things that you could declutter in your spaces if you're having a hard time getting started decluttering your toys and knowing like what kinds of things you could be getting rid of and what would be useful to keep and what would be useful to get rid of. And I love doing a declutter before we have the holidays because I just feel like it is so nice to get rid of not a bunch of stuff, just get rid of some stuff. Just make it a little lighter in your space, especially the toy area before you have like an influx of holiday gifts. So that's it. Okay, now I'm going to go. Now I'm really going to let you go. This is my 12th goodbye. Okay. Drink water, eat snacks, everybody. Take care. Tash.